our way to junk removal job number 5. I've got my wife with me today. It's Sunday afternoon. It's actually just afternoon. Had somebody message me and said, hey, I've got some remnants from a church garage sale. Could you come pick them up? We agreed on $100. That's the price I gave them. Once they sent me pictures of what they needed picked up, nothing's going to go to the dump. Just about all of it's going to get dropped off at Goodwill on the way back to my house because it's all housewares and furniture and that type of stuff. So yeah, should take us about maybe an hour to get it done, but I'll get back to you with the details as soon as we finish up. All right, y'all, we've been here for 50 minutes and this is what we've got. It is a lot of stuff going all the way to the top of the trailer. We got paid already. We're just about to load up our carts and stuff. There's a ton of stuff in here that we're going to be able to sell. A ton of stuff we're going to be able to donate. So overall, it was a pretty decent job. If I didn't have my wife here, I would be struggling bad. So thanks, sweetie. Really appreciate your help. Yeah, now we're going to get the cargo net on and head out. So let's get into the numbers for junk removal job number 5. This is just kind of a weird one because the message came through and I was showing the pictures to my wife and I was like, you know, I think I'm just going to charge them $100 to go pick up all the stuff. We'll go get the trailer and get it all hauled away, knowing that nothing needed to go to the dump. I was looking at it. I'm like, I will just swing by Goodwill on the way home, drop everything off, and we'll be good to go. And it wasn't until we were starting to load everything up and found, you know, a deer stand for a tree stand for hunting deer, found 2 sets of golf clubs, a Cuisinart food processor that's worth pretty good money, and a whole bunch of other household goods that we can flip. Some of it on eBay, some of it on Facebook Marketplace. There's some VCRs in there that probably sell for $30-40 a pop on eBay, and which is what I do. It's my other business, so it's like a hobby deal that I do, but I sell things on eBay. So in any case, I looking at that load of stuff that we got, conservatively $300 in stuff to sell. And if you're going to be a little bit on the bullish side, I'd say $500 worth of stuff to sell if we just really start trying to sell as many things as possible. Now, we're going to spend probably another hour going through the trailer. We'll just take stuff off, and what we're going to do is just back up my van next to it. And as we're taking stuff off, it's either going to go in the garage to be sold, or it's going to go in the van to go to Goodwill. And we'll just do it that way. So we'll probably spend another hour on it, but let's get into the numbers and see what the profit was like on this particular job. So I charged them $100. I'm going to put up a picture here of the gas receipt. It's a digital receipt from Walmart. I spent $6.88 in gas. So that takes the pre-tax profit down to $93.12. Now, my wife and I were both doing this, so whenever I, take that, I'm going to say it's an hour and a half time. We were there for 50 minutes, but there's drive time both ways, and it was about 18 minutes from our house. So I'm just going to say an hour and a half for each of us, so 3 hours of time. If you take the 3 hours of labor out of the $93.12, that is $31.04 per hour. Not a great rate for running junk removal. You want to be somewhere in the $7,500 to $200 range, somewhere in there. So, when we were talking about it, I'm like, it's a church. They obviously need some help hauling stuff away. So my gut initially was to charge $200, and I was like, let's just charge $100, help them out, get the stuff out of there. They don't want there anymore. And at that point, I didn't think there was anything. I didn't see the golf clubs. There's a lot of stuff I couldn't see in the pictures. I just thought everything was just going straight to Goodwill. So where it's going to pay off is the stuff that we're going to sell out of the back of the trailer. And the time we're going to spend going through it, I'm not counting that time because that's our choice to do that. We could have just swung by Goodwill. Goodwill would have unloaded the whole thing, and we would have been gone home with a clean trailer. So, yeah, really interesting job for sure. We took we have those like fabric foldable carts. You see them all sorts of like sporting events and stuff. People taking their kids, but those pack up carts. So we had 2 of those. I had a flat dolly that I used to move big packages for eBay, and a 2-wheeler. We didn't end up using the 2-wheeler, but the flat cart and the 2 wagons. They're like the wagon carts. We used the heck out of those. My wife and I had a really good system going. She was in the gymnasium. She was loading up the wagons and the cart, and I would go put it in the trailer, come back with an empty one, grab a full one, and we just kept trading, and we're able to get everything loaded and then out and into the trailer within 50 minutes, the entire thing, top to bottom. We did put a few things inside of her car, which is what we used to tow it this time instead of the truck, because they were very breakable, and it's stuff that she wanted to keep. So, yeah, it was a pretty cool job. It was fast. You can hear me in the video there. I was like huffing and puffing. I was hustling. We were both hustling to get all that stuff into the trailer and get out of there as fast as possible. So, if I had it to do over again, I'd probably do the same exact thing, even though on the surface it doesn't seem like it's very profitable at $31.04 an hour. Where it's going to pay off is all that extra stuff we're going to sell, and I think a lot of it will probably be sold on Facebook Marketplace, so we'll just get cash for that. We're going to have to sell it, put it on eBay, and get fees and all that kind of stuff. So there'll be a lot of cash transactions there, but yeah, not a lot else to say about that. Looking forward to junk removal job number 6 for sure. I guess I should back up a little bit and say a little bit of an update. I just started a new job. So I had my eBay business. I started junk removal business on top of that to make more money to help pay for my son's college and just to make, living a little bit more comfortable. And a few weeks into it, got a phone call about a job that was opening up in the field that I worked in previously, and needing a sales rep for the area that I live in, and it was just all the boxes seemed to be getting checked, and I wasn't looking for a job. I was working for myself, and I enjoyed that, for the stuff that I do on my own. And but I told my wife, I said, I feel like I should apply for this job. And she goes, "Are you sure you want to apply for a job?" Because my goal was really to kind of not go back to work for other people again. And I told her, I said, I started the junk removal business. I was a little bit stressed out, wanted to make more money. And so I started that. And it's like God was giving me an opportunity to be patient, and I wasn't being patient. I was just like charging headfirst into something because I watched a YouTube video. Don't get me wrong, I really like doing the junk removal. It's a lot of fun, but so I feel like God's putting this job like right in front of me, like, hey, you should apply for this. Because in reality, of all the people that were probably able to do the job, I was probably the most qualified, lived in exactly the right area, had experience in a lot of parts of the job, and know a lot of the customers that are being serviced already. So it's just, I've had been blessed a lot in my whole career to always have opportunities anytime we would need extra income for whatever it was. Get a new car, we need to, we're moving, we're going to have a new house payment, whatever it was. I would always get, recruited to a different job or a promotion or a random bonus, like out of the blue. It just was like time after time after time. I never really noticed it. My wife noticed it. She called it out one day. She's like, "Have you ever stopped to think about how blessed you are in your career? Like, stuff just happens to you constantly." And I'm not trying to brag about it. it blows my mind to sit back and think about all the things that have happened. And and we were talking, and I'm like, this was the first job that I actually applied for the job since I was 17. And I'll be 45 next week. So it's like jobs have just always like fallen into my lap, or been handed to me essentially. So this was really bizarre and nerve-wracking, but I told her, I said, I think this is the right path. I just really feel, kind of calm and peaceful about it, even though I'm going back to work for other people. And I have to say that the people I'm going to work for, I was down there meeting with them in person last week, and they're phenomenal people. Like, just, they're the kind of people that I miss working with in kind of the start of my professional career, family owned, small business, just make sure you're doing the right thing. And it's so refreshing to get back to that, having been in a corporate environment where it was just like all you're trying to do is pound out every little bit of piece of profit everywhere at the cost of people's careers, at the cost of your customer satisfaction. It was just a grind. It just will beat you down because we were doing our jobs to try to help our customers. And yeah, anyhow, that's a big side story, but just to say that I do actually have a job now, so I'm not spending as much time. Junk removal is going to sit off to the side. I have my 9-to-5 job, which is not 9 to 5. It's more than 9 to 5, but that's my primary responsibility. That's where I'm focusing my attention and my energy. eBay is something my wife and I still enjoy doing, garage sales on the weekend, selling stuff on eBay, and that's going to continue. But it's just not going to be a career like it was for me. It's just going to go back to being a hobby. And then junk removal is probably just going to be something like, if somebody is okay with me coming on the weekend, I'll go pick up a load of junk for them and go dispose of it. And if somebody doesn't need me, that's okay. I'll keep my ads up on Facebook Marketplace and probably keep my ad up on Craigslist. And I'll just, if I get a job or two a month, I'm happy with that. Just for a little bit of extra income. And honestly, I think it's kind of fun. It's like a giant treasure hunt to go do it, even if you're not keeping the stuff. It's just kind of interesting, and get to meet cool people and talk about junk removal. So, yeah, let me know what you think about all that. I'm in case you haven't found this out yet, if you've watched my past videos, I'm a pretty open book. I'm pretty transparent, and you can go watch my reselling videos, and it's the same way. I talk about everything about my business, top to bottom. So I just think it's the best way to be about it. So if you have any comments or questions about anything I just said, ask me about it. I'll make sure and I'll respond to you. I try to respond to every single person who takes the time to leave a comment on one of my videos. Because it's your time, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate the support. So let me know what you think, and until job number 6 pops up, I'll see you next time.